this is Dr. Sarala. Welcome to Millet Magic. Tandoori Roti is my husband's absolute favorite. And since we started avoiding wheat and maida, this was one dish which he really missed. And one day we stumbled upon a recipe on how to make Tandoori Roti at home using maida. And it was a no-brainer for us to try the same recipe using millets. We love the results, so here we are sharing the same recipe with you. So watch till the end to know how we made it so that you can make it too and enjoy. To make Tandoori Millet Roti, you will need 2 cups of millet flour. Here I am using the flour of brown top millet. Of course, you can use the flour of any of the 5 positive millets. But if you are just beginning to cook with millets, start off by getting used to making brown top millet rotis. It's the easiest to work with. Once you're comfortable with making rotis with brown top millet, then you can proceed to use foxtail millet and then the other 3 positive millets. Since millets are gluten-free, for the sake of binding, here we'll be using half a cup of urad dal atta, and we will require salt to taste, a teaspoon of palm jaggery powder, and about 1 1/4 teaspoon of dry yeast. First, to activate the yeast, take about 1/4 cup of warm water in a bowl and dissolve the palm jaggery powder in it. Then quickly add in the dry yeast and give it a nice mix. To activate the yeast, we require warm water. The water should not be too hot or else it will kill the yeast. Neither should it be so cold that the yeast does not get activated. After about 5 minutes, you will see small bubbles forming, which means the yeast is getting activated. It takes longer for the yeast to get activated with palm jaggery powder as compared to sugar. And the final ingredient, 1/4 cup of curd. Now into a big bowl go the dry ingredients. First 2 cups of millet flour, 1/4 cup of urad dal atta, salt to taste, make a well in the center and then pour into it the activated yeast. Now using a spoon, moisten the entire flour. If required, you can add in a little bit more of warm water. The warm water also helps to bring out the stickiness from the urad dal flour. After the entire flour has been moistened and looks something like this, set it aside for 15 minutes. These 15 minutes are essential to bring about the binding in the dough. So don't try to fast forward at this step. After 15 minutes, add in the 1/4 cup of yogurt and 2 to 3 spoons of oil and bring the dough together. At this stage, you may add more water if required, or if you feel that the dough is too soft, you may add a little dry flour as well to adjust the consistency. The dough should neither be too hard nor too soft. Knead well for about 2 to 3 minutes until everything comes together. It's not very difficult, you don't need to knead too much, nor do you need to apply a lot of force and pressure. Now set the dough aside in a warm place for about 6 hours. Cover the dough with a moist cloth so that it does not dry out during this time. The yeast also takes a little extra time to act on the millet dough compared to maida or wheat. After 6 hours, you can't expect the dough to have doubled up like maida or wheat, but you will be able to see that the dough has risen and that there's a change in its texture. It's softer and more fluffy and airy. Now make medium-sized balls with the dough. Start making the rotis. I initially get the ball flattened with my hands and then use the rolling pin to spread it out. Millet dough does not have recoil like maida, so you require much less pressure. Use gentle hands to roll out the roti and you'll be good to go. I am using some black sesame seeds and fresh coriander to top the roti. You could also use grated carrot or finely chopped garlic on the top. Now flip the roti over onto a plate. Now using a wet cloth, moisten the under surface of the roti. A good dab with water. This is required so that the roti sticks onto the tawa well. The tawa you use is very important while making the tandoori roti. It has to be an iron tawa with a handle. I do not suggest the use of non-stick anywhere, but for this recipe, it's completely impossible to make the tandoori roti using a non-stick pan because we want the roti's undersurface to stick to the tawa. So now gently flip the roti over and make the wet undersurface stick onto the hot iron tawa. Please note the tawa needs to be well heated before you put the roti onto it. Now on a medium flame, allow to cook for about 30 seconds. You will see small bubbles being formed. Once the bubbles are well formed, it's now time to hold the handle and flip the tawa over. Now the upper surface of the roti is going to get cooked directly from the flame. Now this will help to give you the charred tandoori flavor. By the time you cook the upper surface over the flame, the under surface should have just begun to separate itself. Gently flip over to check if the other side is also cooked. Ta-da! Your millet tandoori roti is ready. If you have not used enough water to dab the roti, or if the tawa was not hot enough, or if you have overcooked the under surface, then the roti might separate from the tawa too early and fall off. In this scenario, use a tongs to hold the roti and cook it on either side. So quickly try out this recipe of millet tandoori roti and serve it with a curry of your choice. Do let us know how you liked it in the comments below. Make sure that you serve the roti hot because otherwise it will not be the same. We'll be back soon with another interesting millet recipe. Until then, happy cooking!